from the rainforest of Bolivia to the towering peaks of the Himalayas. Today we look at 10 roads you would never want to drive on. Number 10. James Dalton Road, Alaska. James Dalton Road in Alaska is one of the few roads in the world where it is highly recommended that you travel with survival gear in case of emergencies. On this 414-mile extremely northern route, there are only 3 stops, 3 towns. So there are also only 3 gas stations and 3 places for provisions. The only medical facilities are at the beginning and ends of the trip. There is nothing in between. The road itself is famous for its appearance on several television shows such as Ice Road Truckers and the BBC's World's Most Dangerous Roads. It's got some colorful nicknames too, inspired by its treacherous reputation, such as Oil Spill Hill and Oh Corner. There are only 3 towns between Fairbanks, Alaska in the south and Dead Horse, Alaska in the north. But this fact illustrates the isolation in that frozen region and how alone you really are if you drive the James Dalton Road unaccompanied, as so many truckers do. Number 9. Leh Manali Highway. Open only 4.5 months a year when the high mountain snows are cleared out, the 298-mile Leh Manali Highway in India is one of the most treacherous in the world. Winding up along the Himalaya mountains, this dirt gravel path ranges in altitude between 2 to 3 miles above sea level, connecting Leh in Kashmir and Manali in Himachal Pradesh. The trip takes about 1 day by jeep and 2 days by bus through the world's highest mountain passes. Some passes reach 17,000 feet or more. Avalanches often block the road, and there are frequent patches of ice and heavy snowfalls. Weather and road conditions change rapidly. The road is extremely narrow in places, particularly on high, steep cliffs overlooking deep mountain chasms. Loose gravel breaks free from the road at random intervals due to the constant freezing and thawing action. The same freezing and thawing effects take their toll on what little pavement there is on parts of the road, making the asphalt ripple like water. The Ladakh region in the north is a semi-arid desert and is very cold even in the summer. In addition to the rough road, one must be prepared for the severe conditions both in the desert and in the mountains. The radical climb and elevation thousands of feet results in lower air pressure at the higher altitude. Less oxygen is in the air and altitude sickness is common. Despite being one of the least comfortable trips possible, many tourists still take the trek for the spectacular scenery. Number 8. Kabul-Jalalabad Road. Completed in 1969, the Kabul-Jalalabad Road began as a decent 2-lane asphalt highway. Now in Taliban territory, fatalities occur literally on a daily basis, but not because of terrorism. The road has since decayed into a 90-mile pitted gravel path. It follows the Kabul River Gorge along cliffs almost 2,000 feet high for 40 of those miles. It is very heavily traveled and strategically important to the area for humanitarian aid and local trade. The road is one of twists, turns, and wheels hanging over the edges of cliffs. The elevation changes over 4,000 feet through Afghanistan's famously rugged mountains. So many people have been lost on the road that they have stopped any official count. Automobiles flip over, trucks soar off the cliffside. Buses hit each other head-on, each refusing to yield. The cars travel very fast. The trucks, however, move quite slowly. The difference causes dangerous conflict. The trucks, lacking any practical regulatory oversight, are often severely overloaded. They have difficulty climbing the steep mountain grades. They get stuck. They roll backward, they fall over, they fall off the cliff. Car drivers become angry and impatient and begin to drive around the scene to crash and to fall off the cliff themselves. It is a horrible scene that repeats and repeats. It seems nonsensical, yet it exists. Number 7. Trans-Siberian Highway. 6,800 miles of highway stretching across Russia from the Baltic Sea to the Sea of Japan. The Trans-Siberian Highway is considered to be the longest national highway in the world. Australia disputes this title, claiming its Highway 1 is the longest. We won't weigh in on that matter. What is certain is that the terrain of the Trans-Siberian Highway is some of the roughest and most challenging on the planet. Initially built by Gulag inmates long ago, the quality of the road varies widely depending on geographic location and local climate conditions. The road surface runs from almost perfect in the west to poor and even unmaintained in the east. Dry season provides excellent driving conditions, cold but accommodating. Wet season can turn the highway into a soggy quagmire. If you travel the distance from St. Petersburg to Vladivostok, you will encounter environments from tundra to forests to vast plains of nothing. While you can travel most of the Trans-Siberian Highway without incident, there are sections which are quite isolated, haunting, and dangerous. There is also a high per capita drunk driving rate in Russia. And the long, cold, and fast drive tempts some to imbibe to fight the boredom and tension of the difficult journey. Never travel the Trans-Siberian Highway alone. It has a reputation for being unkind to unwary travelers. There are more than 26,500 annual road casualties in Russia, many on the Trans-Siberian Highway. It's the fifth most dangerous place for accidental motorist casualties in the world. Number 6. Sichuan-Tibet Highway. From China's Sichuan province in the east to Tibet in the west, the Sichuan-Tibet Highway crosses primeval forests, ancient rivers, and 14 of the highest mountains in the world. The number of road fatalities in China has doubled over the past 20 years, from 3.9 per 100,000 drivers to 7.6 per 100,000 drivers. This staggering rate is accompanied by the statistics of 82,000 fatal accidents in 2006 alone. At least some of those fatalities come from the Sichuan-Tibet Highway, which is 1,500 miles of poor driving surfaces, hairpin mountain curves, single car width lanes, steep cliffs, and inclement weather. Landslides, avalanches, falling rocks, dust, and shifting gravel make up just some of the adventure of the journey. At the high altitudes, sometimes over 16,000 feet, oxygen is in short supply. The oxygen supply at that elevation is only half that of sea level. The high elevation, which can also cause high mountain sickness and nausea, rapidly descends almost 4,000 feet to a rickety bridge, which has seen better days. Number 5. Cotopaxi Volcano Road, Ecuador. Ecuador is the bad road capital of the world, but the worst of the worst is the road leading to the Cotopaxi volcano. There is a swiftly moving stream crossing the entrance to the Cotopaxi National Park, right across the road. Since 1738, the Cotopaxi volcano has erupted more than 50 times. Your chances of getting there uncooked are good, but not perfect. The volcanic activity has taken its toll on the surrounding area, especially the road. The potholes are enormous, craters actually. Small streams well up into dangerous and fatal flash floods in an instant with only a small amount of precipitation, sweeping away unwary travelers every year. Steep inclines lead into deep valleys. Treacherous, slippery, narrow roads make it easy to slide off into those valleys. 25 miles of pit-riddled dirt roads, soaked in local streams, flooded out by the slightest rain, threatened by the local volcano, and you have one of the most dangerous roads in the world. Number 4. Skipper's Canyon Road. Skipper's Canyon Road in New Zealand's South Island is so dangerous that rental car insurance is not honored if you drive on it. Skipper's Canyon Road is so dangerous that you need a permit just to drive on it in the first place. The road was blasted out of the face of a sheer cliff by gold miners and Chinese laborers using only black powder and hand drills. The rock they blasted was solid schist and hasn't changed much since they finished construction. That was 22 years after they began in 1893, after they discovered gold in Skipper's Canyon. Good luck to you if you're driving and find someone coming the other way. To one side, you have looming cliff walls. To the other, sheer cliff drop-offs. Clinging to the cliff walls is all you can do to survive this slender thread of a thoroughfare. Otherwise, you have a fall of thousands of feet down. The local dirt comprising the road surface is so soft that it soon turns to dust in dry weather and to mud in the rain. Yet this road has been in constant use since its completion, when gold rush fever hit. Number 3. The Way to Fairy Meadows. Such a pleasant name, such a treacherous road. Pakistan's high mountainous passes are nearly impassable. So is this road. In Pakistan's Gilgit-Baltistan region, the roughly 10-mile track is an unmaintained gravel pathway without guardrails. You cannot take a vehicle to the very end, as the track narrows to the point of biking or walking traffic. In fact, for most of its distance, the road is only as wide as the average Jeep Wrangler. Careless drivers lose their lives in the high mountain pass by falling off the side of cliffs at an elevation of 10,800 feet. The road was built by local ethnic villagers hundreds of years ago and literally has not seen repairs since. You are traveling a local road, so there are local tolls to pay. There is a surprising amount of traffic on this road, as it leads to the path to Pakistan's second highest summit, Nanga Parbat, which is second only to K2 in height. The dangerous road is popular with hikers and mountain climbers. In 2013, the World Health Organization ranked the Way to Fairy Meadows as the second deadliest road in the world and gave it a fear factor of 9 out of 10. The reasons given were treacherous high altitudes and unstable and narrow mountain roads. Other factors include the lack of barriers, local driving techniques, road surfaces, and the condition of the vehicles and weather conditions. Number 2. Bolivia's Death Road. Built by Paraguayan prisoners during the Chaco War in the 1930s, the North Yungas Road in Bolivia leads northeast 35 miles from La Paz to Coroico. This infamous road is among the few that connect the isolated Yungas region in the north to Bolivia's capital in the south. Traveling north from La Paz, the mountainous single-lane trek climbs over 15,250 feet up to the crisp, dry Altiplano Plateau. Then it rapidly descends over 11,000 feet down the dangerously steep mountainside and over the crest of 2,000-foot cliffs down to the Yungas rainforest below and the town of Coroico. If you travel during the wet season, fog and rain interfere with visibility and turn the 10-foot wide road into a muddy pit. The dry season causes rock falls, dust, and crumbling road edges. A 2006 estimate said that 200 to 300 people are killed every year traveling on this road. Crosses mark the spots where many have passed. In 2013, the World Health Organization's Global Status Report on Road Safety ranked the North Yungas Road as the world's most dangerous road. The World Health Organization also gave it a fear factor of 10 out of 10. Number 1. Mexico's Highway 101. 177 bodies were found near San Fernando, Mexico. The rumors were that dangerous men on the road were taking passengers off buses and killing them. "No one wants to drive the road," said Esther Arca's husband. Esther and her husband were at a gas station on Highway 101, usually the most heavily traveled highway in the state of Tamaulipas. But times are different now. Highway 101 runs the length of the Mexican state of Tamaulipas. It keeps going south into central Mexico and also extends north through Matamoros, across the Rio Grande and into the United States. Esther and her husband have traveled down from Atlanta. "My friends thought I was crazy to come down," said Esther. The authorities discovered 32 more corpses down by Highway 101. Even television trucks and journalists won't take to the highway to report on the largest mass grave found in Mexico's 4-year drug battle. Central and South American migrants, 72 of them, were murdered in this area previously by the cartel. Recently, 68 people were found and rescued from a stash house in Reynosa. They had indeed been snatched off of buses on Highway 101 and taken hostage. Past frequent drivers of Highway 101 now refuse to use it. The U.S. government has warned its citizens not to drive the road. Now, those wanting to use the road travel in caravans during the daytime and move at high speeds, stopping for nothing. In the south and Dead Horse, Alaska in the north. But this fact illustrates the isolation in that frozen region and how alone you really are if you drive the James Dalton Road unaccompanied, as so many truckers do. Number 9. Le Manali Highway. Open only 4.5 months a year when the high mountain snows are cleared out, the 298-mile Le Manali from the rainforest of Bolivia to the towering peaks of the Himalayas. Today we look at 10 roads you would never want to drive on. Number 10. James Dalton Road, Alaska. James Dalton Road in Alaska is one of the few roads in the world where it is highly recommended that you travel with survival gear in case of emergencies. On this 414-mile extremely northern route, there are only 3 stops, 3 towns. So there are also only 3 gas stations and 3 places for provisions. The only medical facilities are at the beginning and ends of the trip. There is Nuth Highway in India is one of the most treacherous in the world. Winding up along the Himalaya mountains, this dirt gravel path ranges in altitude between 2 to 3 miles above sea level, connecting Leh in Kashmir and Manali in Himachal Pradesh. The trip takes about 1 day by jeep and 2 days by bus through the world's highest mountain pass in between. The road itself is famous for its appearance on several television shows such as Ice Road Truckers and the BBC's World's Most Dangerous Roads. It's got some colorful nicknames too, inspired by its treacherous reputation, such as Oil Spill Hill and Oh Corner. There are only 3 towns between Fairbanks, Alaska